Hello everybody. So this video is mainly directed towards my social media students who are taking my online class in social media in the spring of 2018, but anybody else is free to look at it as well. So welcome back from spring break, and hopefully everybody's had a chance to get back into the swing of things with classes. It's taken me some time as well, so that's why you haven't heard from me until just now. But we're going to use the rest of the semester to finish up our podcast project. So I wanted to talk today with you about what those what are some of the things that you need to be doing with that. So one of the things is the literature review, and so if you look under your assignments for this week, you'll see one called Podcast Lit Review, which I'm looking at here. It says to find everything about your topic, and these can be written sources, they can be other media, audio, video programs. You want to make a comprehensive list that describes your research topic, and then a list of all these sources that help you explain your topic. It's going to help you do your research, help talk about what you're going to do. So if you remember your podcast, it's audio only. It's going to be a recorded piece, and either you can speak yourself or you can recruit a narrator to read a script that you have written. It needs to be your original work, and then the final piece will be in an audio recording. And then what we'll do is we'll stitch all of them together. Everybody in our class will have a different angle, a different piece that they're doing, and they'll turn in audio recordings, and then I'll put them together into one final radio style program that can be downloaded and listened to. To get started, you need to be doing some research. Hopefully you've been reading in your area as well, but you need to make a list. And if you do other research projects, it's called an annotated bibliography. And basically it's the list of things, the list of sources that you've found, and a little blurb about what it's about. So this screen is an annotated bibliography that I did, and if you can tell by the date, it's 8 years old now, but I'm showing it to you because it's one of the favorite ones that I ever did for a class where I did this kind of research. It was in Michael Wesch's digital ethnography class, and if you get a chance to take that class, those of you that are attending face-to-face classes in Manhattan, I highly recommend it because he's an amazing teacher, and he'll teach you how to do research using a anthropologist's approach. And so ethnography is one way that they do that. You find yourself immersing yourself into an environment. And actually you all could probably follow a simplified version of that as well if you're paying attention to digital cultures or online communities and digging into that. In our semester, I went online into YouTube, and then I looked at subcultures of students that are using YouTube to talk about what it's like to be students in their schools. And so that's what my lit review was all about. But I found lots of literature to read. So there were printed texts, there were books, there were digital articles, and then ultimately I started digging into videos themselves on YouTube. But the literature gave me a background of understanding of what it was that I was looking at and experiencing. So like I had a section on youth psychology and development, and here's some of the books. Note, I probably didn't even read all of these, but these are just books that I found that I thought might be related. And it probably isn't a true annotated bibliography because each one of these I would have read. I most definitely did read some of these. Anyway, some materials about the internet and technology foundations. This one's Yochai Benkler, Wealth of Networks. I definitely remember reading at least a chapter on that about how social networks form, and that was really interesting. And then this one, No Sense of Place, I remember reading that as well by Joshua Meyrowitz, and I've got more to say on that here in a second. But anyway, Sherry Turkle, I've read a lot of her work as well. Howard Rheingold. Um, he's done a lot of work in this area as well. So you might actually, if you go to this website, it's still published, even though it's 8 years old now. You might find some things in your research that you can use here as well. Um, so anyway, this is a big, long list. I didn't know hardly anything about anthropology, so I had some things recommended and some things that I found there as well. Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell. I've returned to that many times since I've been teaching in digital media and computer area. And then just some basics on teaching and learning, education and learning. I've used a lot of these sources as well. So I refer back to this over the years, but I wanted to show everybody that you can publish a list like this online and then really crazy things happen. So notice here, look at my first commenter was from Professor Joshua Meyerowitz, who wrote that book, No Sense of Place. And he read about my project and what I was working on, and he suggested some other literature to read as well. So that's pretty powerful. That shows you the power of working online, working in a digital environment. When you put things out there and then people respond to you that are well-known authors and experts in the field. So I highly recommend that you do that as well. Make your lit review, make it public so others can find it, be tweeting about it. You can even use Twitter to locate and find experts and sources. That's what I do now, I think, is do Twitter searches on whatever it is that you're researching. Okay, and then one other source that I want to be sure that you're aware of and you're thinking about using, and that's the library. Okay, K-State has an amazing library. If you're on campus in Manhattan, go to your library, or Salina as well. Go to the library and check out what they have on your topic in that as well. Okay, so I always like to click advanced search, and that just gives me a little more flexibility. And let's see, books, articles, K-State libraries. So I like to look at K-State libraries just to see what kind of books that they have on hand about my topic. So let's say I'm talking about internet and mental health. Let's see here. In the title, in the subject, let's do that, and I'll put it in quotes: mental health and subject. Also, let's just internet and search. Let's see if there's anything that pops up here. So yeah, 378. So here's some on storytelling. Look at there are videos available online. So you might even be able to access these and capture the audio from those videos, some of these, if they are relevant to what you're doing. So okay, let's try this one. Let's look at social media and mental health and search that one out. And alright, so here I've got social media addiction, real life teens, danger of social media. So there may be some possibilities there. Supporting bereaved students at school. There's an actual book. How many hits did I get on that? 9. There's preventing college suicide. That may well have some tips related to what you want. So yeah, let's just go to view it. Let's see what it's about. Open source and new. Get full text here at eLibrary. So if you're on a K-State computer, it ought to open right up for you. Otherwise, if you're accessing it from home, it'll want you to log in with your EID. Pull that up. But yeah, I would definitely add that to my list. It may or may not be relevant to what I'm working on, but it's a possible source of information that I could use in my video. So, okay, so to use a database, I'm going to go back to the library webpage, and go to research and go to article databases. So you could either do e-journals or article databases. E-journal, if you know what journal you want to look in, and I have some in mind for that too that might be good to browse through. But for starters, I think I just want to go to a database, and I'll probably just pick a general one, a generic one. And so over here, not sure where to start. There's multidisciplinary databases, Scopus, all of these are good. Web of Science. I've had a lot of good luck with ProQuest, so I'm going to go ahead and go into ProQuest and do this search. Same search that we just did. We're going to go social media and mental health. And then I want to limit this to full text, which means I want to get the entire article. I don't want to just read a synopsis. I want to be able to read the whole study. Peer reviewed, I'm also going to check that. That makes sure it's a scholarly work that's been peer reviewed. All dates is fine. And I'll click, let's just search. See what ProQuest comes up for, of course. 1,700 results on that. So here you go. Look at psychiatric illness and Facebook. 1-year effects of social media intervention on attitudes of young people. Online peer-to-peer support in youth, mental health. So look at 1,700 results right here in this library. You're going to have way more than you can actually read on this. So you might look through if you want to kind of say, okay, well, which ones do I want to pay most attention to? Look at these cited by and references. So cited by means someone else cited this paper in their paper. So there's 30 people who referred to this study in papers that they wrote. And it also has 45 references of its own. So that's another good way to find things. So if you read a good paper and they're citing other papers, you can dig into those and look at those papers as well. So if I click, let's look at this one. This looks like, so you open it up, it's going to give you the abstract and a link to the full text that I can download. It looks like it's a 10-page paper, and I'm getting right here in the full text of it. Okay. So begin to start collecting these and start saving these, and that can help you to do your study and tell you what the experts out there are saying on this. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that that's out there, and this is a good resource for you. Don't forget about your library, your university research library, because it's a great source to help you get smart in a hurry.